Coming up, UI students react to the possible overturning of Roe versus Wade.
There's a lot of demonization of what it actually is and a lot of misinformation.
And later, the new director for Hancher Auditorium sets his sights on the future.
Iowa baseball looks to bounce back this weekend after a disappointing loss on Tuesday. I'll tell you more in sports.
After some cloudy days, this weekend will start to bring some summer temperatures and sun. I'll tell you more in weather.
All that and more coming up on this Friday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Lauren Johnson. Monday's leaked Supreme Court draft opinion overturning Roe v. Wade sparked a lot of commentary in the United States about the future of abortion rights. I spoke to students to find out how the UI community feels.
The Roe v. Wade ruling has been controversial from the start, and the possible overturning of it is no less controversial. Some students expressed a lot of feelings about this decision.
I feel overwhelmed. I feel a little scared. I feel a little angry. I think it's a really tough and difficult situation because it's not just about religion. It's also about a woman's right to choose.
Others pointed out a perceived double standard between abortion and other issues.
I think it's unfair, in all honesty. One thing that I noticed when I was looking into stuff is that everyone argues about certain things that vaccines and everything like that because it's their body, their choice, they can get it. But then when it comes to getting abortions, they will not let women have their choice when it's their body still.
Some students targeted the rhetoric used by people hoping to overturn Roe v. Wade.
It's awful, and especially the reason they're using for it, where it's not justified in history when we're trying to escape the history of oppression.
While many students are angry, some are encouraging others to keep fighting for abortion rights.
I think it's definitely something that people need to keep talking about, get change done.
UI students seem passionate about this issue. Though it remains to be seen if Roe v. Wade will be overturned, the court will release its official ruling by the end of June. And check out the Daily Iowan for more updates on Iowa City reactions to this conflict. At the end of the summer, many University of Iowa students face Homeless Week. This week is between July 28th and August 1st, and it is the time between which leases start and end.
Or very limited opportunities for surge storage, for housing, places to shelter their animals, places to put their park if they have a car.
This year, the university is providing hotel rooms in the IMU Hotel to help with this stressful experience. Starting in the last week of July, around 50 students will be housed at the IMU hotel rooms during this lease gap. These rooms will have a reduced rate with access to certain dining hall locations. And it was announced that the University of Iowa will maintain their critical race theory course. When discussing the university's action, chair of the English department, Lauren Glass, said, quote, "If the university's overall mission is to search for knowledge and truth, then this is something that people need to know," end quote. The decision comes less than a year after Kim Reynolds' ban on requiring, quote, "divisive concepts to be taught throughout the state," And Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley is seeking re-election for an 8th Senate term after almost half a century in Congress. Daily Iowan executive editor Caleb McCullough is in the newsroom with more about his plans as the Grassley campaign keeps running. Caleb, what is Chuck Grassley's strategy to win re-election this year?
Yeah, Grassley is pretty favored to win the election, but he said that he's not approaching this any differently than years past. He's just doing his best and hoping voters send him back. So he's not campaigning super heavily right now, but he's on his 99 county tour, and he's raised about $4.8 million this cycle. So we'll probably see him campaigning more once the Democratic primary wraps up in June.
And Democrats say he is vulnerable this year. What is their strategy for getting Grassley voted out?
Yeah, Democrats are trying to convince voters that Grassley's been in office for too long. They're really hammering this 47 years in Congress number. And they're also trying to tell people that he's become more partisan and right-wing over the years. They're pointing to some things that some decisions he made during the Trump and Obama years. And so that's their plan, and they are campaigning pretty hard. A lot of them are raising a lot of money, and one of them will be elected in June, and they're going to try to convince voters to come out and vote for Democrats and vote Grassley out of office.
Thanks, Caleb. Hobbs Cafe opens to support immigrant families with special needs children. DITV News reporter Justina Borgman is live outside the cafe.
That's right, Lauren. I'm standing on Wade Street in front of the Hobbs Cafe. Today marks the second day that the cafe will be open. I talked to Dayreen Loven, the organizer of the cafe, to see how the turnout was of the grand opening.
It's going really wonderful. I think people have been coming. Others say it's the first time, but they want to come back. People enjoying the food, which that's what we want. And everybody was so happy to be here.
Many years ago, Dayreen found a need for programs for young adults with disabilities, especially those that are part of a minority. So, she gathered a group of volunteer parents to fulfill her dream. Marta Santiago, a server in the cafe.
Can I help everybody for the food?
She likes the food aspect and serving the people of the cafe.
I love it. The food is great, and what I'm so proud of is a trainee that I met in our LEND program, which is a leadership program, is the one that this is the dream that she had, and she is a fabulous leader and was able to bring her dream to reality.
And for the future of the cafe?
And we're going to do something. We're going to make a difference in our communities.
And the Hobbs Cafe will be open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and all food and drinks will be donation-based. From the Hobbs Cafe, I'm Justina Borgman, and back to you in the studio, Lauren.
Thanks, Justina. The University of Iowa hospitals and clinics joined phase 2 of a COVID-19 vaccination trial. The trial is specifically for boosters. Researchers plan to compare immune responses to decide which is better for the public. 6 boosters will be tested, all developed by Moderna. UIHC received funding from the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease. The trial will run at 24 different sites with the University of Iowa included. 600 people signed up to participate, and they will be randomly assigned one of the 6 variations. And as summer approaches, the temperatures are finally starting to look like it. Caitlin, can you fill us in on the forecast for the weekend?
Yes, thank you, Lauren. As the temperatures are starting to heat up, Yes, thank you, Lauren. This upcoming week is going to be a great time to spend some time outside as you're getting ready for finals. And today we have a high of 64 degrees and a low of 44 with mostly cloudy skies. Tonight should clear up a bit, and on Saturday we will have a full day of sun with a high of 72 and a low of 50. Continuing into next week, we will get very lucky with a full week of 80-degree weather and lots of sunshine, which makes for a perfect way to end the semester. Now let's toss it back to Destiny and hear more on the latest updates on Hawkeye sports.
Thanks, Caitlin. 5 future Iowa women's wrestlers are participating in the Women's National Championship this weekend in Fort Worth, Texas. The wrestlers include Nyla Valencia and Nania Estrella in the U20 and U23 category, and Ella Schmidt and Bella Mir and Reese Mendy in the U20 category. It was announced in September 2021 that Iowa would be the first Power 5 school to add women's wrestling, and in February, Kylie Welker became the first recruit in program history. The team will begin competing in 2023. And Iowa baseball welcomes the Purdue Boilermakers to Dwayne Bakes Field this weekend for a 3-game series. Iowa is currently sitting in 4th in the Big Ten Conference, and the Hawks are looking to bounce back following a 3-2 loss against Illinois State this past Tuesday, where the team struggled with their offense. Iowa will need to get their bats back on track this weekend if they want to knock off the Purdue Boilermakers before Saturday's games. Men's basketball forward Patrick McCaffrey will throw out the first pitch, and women's basketball stars Caitlin Clark and Monica Sinanu prior to Sunday's game. The first pitch is set for today at 4:05 p.m. The Iowa men and women's track and field team are headed to the Dr. Open tomorrow. This meet will be held in Dubuque, Iowa, and starts at 11 a.m. This meet is very important for their season since it will be a quick turnaround as they will head to the Big Ten Outdoor Championship, which will be happening on May 13th. Coming off such a successful meet at the Jake Relays, winning 2 relay titles, and junior member James Carter Jr. claiming the triple jump title, it is important for these Hawkeyes to stay focused and ready for what's to come. Be sure to tune back to see how they do. And the Iowa softball team will look to continue from their success from Wednesday's close win over Northern Iowa. The Hawkeyes will hold on to beat the Panthers 3-2 in a close Bitcher's Duel, Iowa now has the benefit of finishing off the regular season at home against the Purdue Boilermakers. Iowa will celebrate all of their seniors on Sunday, including 4 student managers, 2 student athletes, Kate Claypool, Riley Sheehy. Hopefully, the Hawkeyes can build off their midweek momentum and send off their seniors with a series win at home. Check out the Daily Iron website for more softball and baseball updates. Now over to you, Lauren.
Thanks, Destiny. Iowa City is combating food waste. A new initiative called Love Food, Hate Waste has been started with the goal of educating the Iowa City community about food waste and proposing eco-friendly alternatives. The city has set specific goals for the coming summer months. May will focus, on knowing your purchase and use by dates, while June revolves around understanding types of food waste. To wrap up the initiative, July will focus on decreasing the overconsumption of food. Food conservation techniques will be taught through videos, blogs, and hands-on activities. And the new Play Festival is officially back on stage for the first time in 2 years. The completely student-run event returned this week with brand new pieces ranging from musical theater to somber stories. For many students in the theater department, this was their first chance to be a part of this festival in person.
There's a real strong sense of community building, a sense of the department kind of owning the event and presenting it to the public. It's always kind of crazy. It's sort of high pressure.
The festival continues tonight and into Saturday with more productions and staged readings. And speaking of theater, there's even more to look forward to as Hancher Auditorium is making some changes. Hancher Auditorium's executive director Chuck Swanson is retiring over the summer, and the new executive director is starting his plans for the future of performing arts. DITV reporter Ashley Wheel has more.
Andre Perry will start as the executive director of Hancher Auditorium and of the Office of Performing Arts and Engagement later this month. And while there's still lots to figure out, he has goals set for being an agent of positivity, empathy, and joy in the community. Perry explained how we are currently coming out of time that has been extremely disruptive for the performing arts and higher education.
I think the first couple years, or particularly the first year, it's tough because it's a transitional year as we kind of like refigure out who we are.
Some of his main focuses include achieving clarity about their shared values and rethinking who Hancher and the performing arts at Iowa are and what they're trying to deliver. Perry currently serves as the Director of Arts, Engagement, and Inclusion and Senior Advisor to the Executive Office of DEI at the University of Iowa.
Really difficult but rewarding work, and so leaving this team is really hard for me, just emotionally.
He hopes to use the performing arts as a way to amplify and support the work done at the Division of DEI. He also hopes to continue to honor Chuck and all the previous directors of Hancher Auditorium.
As we were kind of building the future, we have to also just honor and celebrate the past because those folks have so much wisdom and just have done so much work.
The 2022 to 2023 season has been planned by current staff, but there is still more to come as this new transition for Hancher begins. From Hancher Auditorium, Ashley Wheel, DITV.
And a message from the DITV staff to the seniors. As we end the spring season of DITV, we say farewell to all the seniors here at our studio that put on DITV News every morning. Each of us answered the question, what was your most memorable moment during your time at DITV? And these are our answers.
Every time I would cover the Iowa football season with my best friends, Caitlin, Mary, Vivian, Michael, Julia, was my favorite memory from DITV. It was the best opportunity, and getting to experience with them was the best thing ever.
When Destiny and I got to cover the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis, it was such a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and we got to interact with a lot of professionals, which was really fun.
Some of my most memorable moments here at DITV came before the live broadcast even started, getting everything ready in the morning to hang out with the people that I can now call my friends.
It was election night 2020. I had never really had much experience with reporting up to that point, and I was kind of thrown to the wolves with covering such a huge story. And that was when I realized that not only did I have things to say that mattered, but I was actually really interested in it, and I understood what I was talking about. And that grew into me being a politics reporter in spring of 2021. And then this year, I created a politics segment, Backroom Breakdown, which allowed me to cover what was going on politically every week of the school year, pretty much, which has been such an amazing experience.
My most memorable moment at DITV was when we really started to hit a stride, especially this semester. People's training was finally starting to click, people were turning really great packages, and we started to really make some cool technical moves with graphics on the monitor and live shots, and it really became the show that I imagined when I became news director.
Thank you for tuning in to DITV News. I'm Lauren Johnson. Have a great summer.
I will not be yelled at for this.